Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
you must tune your bass, tune your bass.
the long-term benefits of
Bass.
have been proved by scientists.
Good morning, County 016. Good morning, Machakos County. You're listening to 99.9 Shine FM, radiating lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
You must tune your bass, tune your bass.
the long-term benefits of
Bass.
have been proved by scientists.
Welcome, dear listener, to Navigating the New Normal on your go-to radio show for the latest information on COVID-19. I'm your host, Wanjiru Shege, Kamakawa Kamadawa, and today we're going to do a deep dive into the world of COVID-19, shedding light on how the virus has reshaped our lives. So let's dive in.
What we're gonna do right now is go back, way back in time.
Sijaielewa hiyo kitu.
Sijaiona.
Na sijaiona.
Mimi kama mwanabiashara, COVID ililetea hasara kubwa sana sababu
Before COVID, I didn't have the spirit of adventure or the urge to be out in the world or try.
Kitu kama sanitizer hata iko inaenda. Ilikuwa nakaa kwa shop more than a month or so. Sasa uliona nakaa.
To really understand COVID-19, we need to start with its origins. COVID-19 is caused by a virus called SARS-CoV-2, which first emerged in late 2019 in Wuhan, China. Since then, it has spread globally, causing a pandemic. The virus primarily spreads through respiratory droplets. When an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks, it is crucial to wear masks, maintain social distancing, and practice proper hand hygiene to prevent transmission. COVID-19 manifests differently in individuals, ranging from mild to severe symptoms. Common symptoms include fevers, coughs, sore throats, fatigue, and shortness of breath. This is, however, not a new phenomenon because through the years, COVID-19 has been presenting with different strains or variants, claiming the lives of more than 6 million people globally, more than 200,000 lives in Africa, and 5,668 lives in Kenya to date.
Scientists.
My name is Casey Wairimo, and you're listening to Navigating the New Normal on Shine FM.
This is our new normal, and the Daystar University community is no exception. Let's find out more about this from our panelists, live from the Office of the Governor in Daystar University at the River Campus. So meet our panelists today, and I will let them introduce themselves. They tell us their names and what they do in Daystar. Karibuni.
Hi, I'm Patton Yugi. I'm a student at Daystar University. I take community development and I also take psychology.
Hello, Ogaga Beverly, student at Daystar University, pursuing diplomacy in international relations and security studies. Passionate student of international relations. Thank you very much.
Hi, Laban Choti, third year, or going to fourth year nursing students. Currently, I'm the main campus secretary. Yeah.
AKA.
Yeah?
AKA.
Governor.
Okay, so do you think COVID is a health concern today?
I'll go first. Yes, I think COVID is a health concern, though it's not as profound as it was a few years ago. It did a lot of damage. It still is doing damage, but it's not as much as it was. it's now like a common disease, like the way we've been living with diseases. I feel like it's gone down to that mainstream, like 2 people in maybe a week or a month. So it's there, but it's manageable.
So COVID, to me, it's a 50-50 thing. Yeah, from another angle, it is a healthcare concern. Again, if I look at it from a different angle, it is not a healthcare concern. Now, here we go. This is how COVID is a healthcare concern. You see, we have security, and security is freedom from fear and want. And under security, we have 6 pillars. And the most essential pillar of security is human security. Human security deals with food, deals with security and protection of a person. And COVID comes here as a threat. So when an individual is not protected, like for instance, let me use the food aspect. We all know that the damage that was caused with COVID, many people lost their jobs. And the effect is still there with us till to date. Look at the families that lost their jobs. You see these people are straining to get food for their families. And can't you see this is narrowing down to human security? Because what happens if I don't have a job? I cannot provide for my family. That affects me. Mental health. I'm being stuck. I'm feeling like people feel depressed. And that is how it comes in. It makes people feel depressed. People who lost their job during the era of COVID-19 are still, the consequences are still there to date. People locomoted from various, areas. People who are doing physical education translated to do online education, which they're still adapting to, which I do believe is not a best form education because it does not have, it does not bring socialness. So people adopted to that. Again, now it is affecting the human concept of security, where people don't feel like they need to engage with each other. So to me, yes, it is a concern. And again, from the angle where it is not that concern, I feel like if people had planned themselves, like, you foresee your future very well, people were not affected. Those people were affected at that time because of lockdown and restriction. So the people who planned themselves, they're not facing the trouble of COVID-19. So there are people who are experiencing the challenges that came with it, and there are people who just okay, the effects are one totally. Yeah.
So I think my question would be, in regards to that, is how do you necessarily prepare for a pandemic, especially one that you cannot see in a sense?
Okay, thank you very much. It is so unfortunate and sadly in our country, most of the people, majority between 24 and above and 35, are living in the means of hand to mouth. So these people, they don't adopt the culture of saving, and that is what is eating us down as a nation. Because we are in the culture of from hand to mouth. What happens if a crisis comes? You can't go to job. You get. So my advice is we should do more of investing and do a lot of saving, because you never know what might happen tomorrow. That is one of the things. Then our clinicals or medical sector should be revamped in a way that we have the best and qualified doctor, so that when such things happen, we have laboratory can always carry out tests and offer solution. And the main thing to do, we as a country, we should adopt the culture of saving, because that is the main crisis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Laban, is COVID a health concern? And since you're a nursing student, I will let you tackle the health aspect of it.
Thank you. Is COVID a health concern? I love what Ogaga just said. She's brought in the aspect of mental health. You see, during the COVID period, a lot of people went through a lot of mental health crisis. And that is still there up to now. And that's why I would say COVID is still a health concern. But besides that, COVID is still there, because one thing you learn as a healthcare worker is, once a disease is there and there's no cure for it, it remains to be there. So COVID is there. But I think what really has happened is it's called hard vaccination. You see, the mass vaccination that went around made that disease to be suppressed. You see, so like some people are not vaccinated, but they are benefiting from the vaccinated ones, because it's not easy for it to continue spreading, because a majority of people have been vaccinated. So yes, it's still there, it's still a health concern, but not as much as it was in 2020 and 2019. That's what I would say.
Okay, so random question. I think we've had people throughout the COVID become a Homa thing. What do you think?
Yeah, it's true. COVID is like, you might think it's a flu. See, you start coughing, and then you feel some kind of way, your headaches and the fever and everything. But see, with COVID, how do you differentiate it with the Homa? Because sometimes you may lose the sense of taste, yeah? And sometimes you cough excruciatingly, and that's how you can differentiate COVID from the normal flu.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question goes to Peyton. What does it mean to our community?
What does COVID-19 today mean to our community?
What does the presence of COVID-19
What does the presence of COVID-19 mean to our community today? I think the very first thing COVID did to us that today we are aware of is the proximity that we are to a worldwide pandemic. So we have been, just like Beverly has said again, we're thinking of what if. So we're able to anticipate several things that have not happened, and we're able to set up measures such as what she said, saving, improving our healthcare system, detecting viruses and things like those earlier on, so that they don't spread as much. So yeah, I think that is one of the things that COVID has given meaning to in this age. Another thing COVID, it has really given us a second thought on mental health, just as they've said also. Today there's so much going around about mental health, and that can be attributed partly to the loneliness that was there, the being alone at home with your family and having to stay with your mind. Okay, so mental health means a lot in our community today, and that is partly thanks to COVID-19. So what does it mean health-wise today? It's not really a threat, but just as I said, it has helped us to improve our healthcare systems. Yeah.
Okay, so random question. Do you think COVID has made us alert or anxious?
Alert or anxious? Alert or anxious? I choose one. Okay.
You choose one and explain why.
I don't really think anxious, because anxiety, I don't really think anxiety is one way to describe how COVID has made us feel, because anxiety comes with an aspect of fear, comes with being unsettled, of being always on the lookout. You're worried that something will happen. I think it's more of a lot, because now if after the very intense COVID period, I'm sure most of us have seen other viruses being broadcasted to us, that this virus has been found this and this place, and it doesn't spread, it is contained there. You see, because we are more alert, we know that this virus, it can spread really fast, but now that we've gotten it here, we are able to contain it where it is. So we're more informed, we are more alert, we can be able to see danger before it gets there, because we've been there before. So the experience gives us something we can work with when something happens in the present state.
I have something to say about that alert and
Alert and anxious.
yeah.
Okay.
To me, I feel like it has made us both, and I love the concept Patton has used that anxiety comes with fear. You see, the security concept of a state or of Kenya is freedom from fear and want. How am I supposed to guarantee that my wants are and dignities are protected if they have not yet come up with, a medication that, or a research to tell us that COVID imeisha. You get? So I'm not certain. So people still live with fear. You don't know if you're going to contract, if it's there or it's not. Because they have not installed mechanism or they have not done a research to show that this disease is gone. Plus, I'm told that 2020 was not the first time to experience COVID. This thing was there before some years back in China. It has eloped some years back. So again, this was the second wave of COVID. So we don't know if there will be a third wave or the fourth wave or anything. You get? So people still live in fear. That is why I see some people are still protective. You see some people still putting on masks. And yet, Kitambo, we are doing it because it was a government mechanism. But right now, people are doing it for self-protection because you don't know if the threat is there or not. Most of the people did not vaccine, or people who vaccinated, and they were like, okay, this vaccine, it has got its own disadvantages. So the anxiety concept is still there. Then alertness, people are alerted. For instance, when the COVID-19 was there, mostly it attacked people, the global north countries. And we as the global south countries, we suffered a lot. Because most of our product, the things we are consuming are coming from the global north. For instance, wheat is being imported by Russia and Ukraine. And you could see by then, the prices of everything skyrocketed and we couldn't manage it. We have a pandemic, prices of food is skyrocketing. Why? We cannot import things because of the corona period. It tampered with a lot of people's jobs. So again, it has made us to reduce our dependency ratio on the global north country. And if the government is mentally okay, the government should come up with a mechanism so that we don't be too dependent on global north countries. Yeah.
Okay. Laban,
If I
opinion?
can weigh in on the same. Alert in the sense that, see, by getting vaccinated, I am being alert,
Right.
By washing hands more often, that's me being alert.
Right.
But it may also mean I'm also afraid, I'm also anxious, because I don't want to get COVID, so I'll have to wash my hands. But that's alert, that's still anxious. And so I feel like it has made us more alert because, as they've said, our healthcare system, I'm a nurse, I'm going to rotations. I know, like when you go to a patient's room, you have to have a mask, you have to, wash your hands, you have to sanitize even after each and every procedure. That's being alert. But the anxious part, I won't comment so much about it, but I feel like we are more alert as a community.
I think, let me throw this back to you in the sense that, don't you think wearing masks at this point is just being courteous, for lack of a better word, in the sense that if I have a cold, I'll put on my mask so I don't spread it to others. So I'm just, quote unquote, being my brother's keeper. Don't you think it's that kind of perspective on mask wearing?
Yeah, I agree with you totally. See, like it also developed that sense of, I have to care for my neighbors and brothers. Because once you realize, hey, I'm coughing a bit, you look for a mask. Everyone nowadays does that. And we'd say COVID had its positive effects, like that one, like the mental health issue. It made us more aware of our mental health needs and everything. And so, yes, alert. I'd lean more on alert.
Okay, so alert, not anxious.
Okay, we're anxious, yes, but not much as alert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ogaga, how has COVID reshaped our lives?
Reshaped.
Reshaped, yes.
I don't want to engage so much in repetition because everything we've mentioned here is going, it's hand in hand and it's part and parcel of reshaping our lives. One, Laban has mentioned the concept of concern and care. It has reshaped our life in that aspect, where we are not more of, Kenya is a capitalist state, and right by then people are not that more capitalist. We get more communist in that you care for each other by putting on masks to avoid the spread of the disease. So it has reshaped our life by giving us the concept and conscious of caring for each other. Again, it has reshaped our life by pushing us and making us aware to work hard and indulge into the and adapt the concept of saving. Yeah, to avoid this hand to mouth thing. I feel like we have tackled that question hapa katikati. Yeah.
Okay, so Laban, what are your thoughts on students' admission into the institutions today?
Post-COVID?
Post-COVID, yes.
Post-COVID, I'd say we started off well because, you see, we were doing online studies.
Right.
And as she said, students, young people love socializing, they love interacting. And so when admissions were accepted, we felt like most students wanted to be here physically. And so the admissions went high. Yeah, they went really high to a point where we felt like accommodation on campus was not enough.
Oh,
And
right.
still it's not enough.
Right.
But with the recent government declarations and laws that the government is coming up with, I feel like admissions will go a bit lower. But still we are hopeful because we are confident in the services we provide. And so post-COVID, I'd say it was okay. Right now, can't say much, but still holding on to that hope. Perhaps if they want to weigh in.
Agaga, anything you want to weigh in on the admission aspect of it?
Admission aspect of it, because I have nothing like, I couldn't agree more with the governor. He has wrapped it all. Yeah.
So, Peyton, but I want you to focus on the e-learning, I think online learning admissions. So do you think it's gone higher? Is it gone lower? How are people adapting to it? etc.
Can I talk?
Sure. Go ahead.
Everything has its own advantages and disadvantages, or maybe it can be repetition of what I'm about to say. The concept of e-learning, I think that thing adopted in this after COVID-19. So it has enabled us to create a lot of space for technology. It has created a lot of space for technology, and thereby I think it created job for certain people, and it has enabled us, we as students, to learn and engage more in artificial intelligence, which again is a very good thing. Yeah, and you see, it's something that is still going on. It's something that it was developed during COVID-19 out of desperation, and that desperation is a very good thing because it's something that is going to be used even if you're physically in school. So it has its own advantages. Yeah.
Okay, since we've covered the advantages, Peyton, disadvantages of e-learning?
Disadvantages of e-learning. Number one, always will be mental health. We are social being. We are a social being, and we gain a lot from our social interactions. There's a lot of will for life. There's a lot of learning we do when we're with other people physically. Yeah, so e-learning cuts this a part of interaction where you see when you're in class, you're able to see how students are interacting. When they're bored, you can be able to see when your neighbor is tired or when your neighbor is hungry, or when she comes to class not okay, when she's really happy. When you're in the e-learning, we cut these kinds of interactions, which from time immemorial, communities have been growing by. We have been like you can see your friend is not okay today and talk to them. In the e-learning, it's an avatar there. You don't know what the person behind the screen is going through. So, and people in the age of university, their early 20s and their late teens, they are going through a really important phase of their life, struggling with Alder's theory says that they struggle with intimacy and isolation. So when we put these people, we isolate these people because e-learning tends to drive towards that direction of isolation. We do not resolve this stage, especially the intimacy part, because we cannot form meaningful relationships with our peers. We cannot see how they react to interactions that we have. We cannot hold very deep conversations about ourselves and themselves. Yeah, I think that's a very big thing that e-learning has, disadvantage of the e-learning. Another is probably part of artificial intelligence. Yeah, we GPT almost everything these days. It's crazy. Creativity is going low. It's a really scary bit. We still don't know how to use it well. You see, it's a tool. It's a tool that can be used for so many things. It can be used to great advantage. Okay, but there are limits. Okay, there's still no limits, and being that it's new, institutions still don't have ways to limit the use of such tools. So people will be extreme. People are extreme right now. Someone maybe has not done any assignments this semester. Maybe it's me, maybe it's not me. Because there's GPT. There's so many artificial intelligence. You can create a video from artificial intelligence. You can create a very human looking document. You see? So that's another point of technology that I feel needs to be addressed.
Okay. So I think we're on to our last question. So in regards to the presence of COVID-19 within us or amongst us, what can we do differently?
But I think it will help me in future, maybe 1 year from now, to adopt the culture of saving. You know me, my concept is saving. This thing of hand to mouth is everything that triggers us down. I know the life can be hard. We have nothing to save. And people are always like, oh, let us live the moment. They don't plan for future. So I think I'll plan for future by adapting the culture of saving.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not a YOLO person?
Yeah.
YOLO. You only live once. On a later note.
I was, but I think as we move on, as get to grow, came to see we can't live once. You can't say we only live once. Plan for the future.
You have to plan for the future.
Yeah.
What if you die tomorrow?
Oh God.
You've saved.
Let us be optimistic. You see, that's what I'm telling you. You don't deny yourself. You just consume enough. Like, for instance, why eat chips, cuckoo, and Minute Maid, and again, another thing at the same time, you eat enough. You do what is enough for you as you save for tomorrow. That doesn't mean it's going to limit what if you die tomorrow. Let us not have that concept. And that mentality is for poor people. The governor is not poor. Governor is not poor.
YOLO people.
Because if you live that concept of what if we don't, you will end up borrowing. True. And once you start borrowing, leave alone even Kenya borrowing, you as an individual, these loans have interest. Have you ever borrowed a loan? Interest rates 8%, 12%. The moment unarudisha hata kama unapata source of income kidogo, people will be like, and she's working. Why is it that Hannah every time? You have nothing because you always pay a lot. Yeah. So itakuweka ukue desperate, and when you're desperate you will borrow and borrow, and once you continue borrowing utakuwa slave. It's not a good thing.
So perfect. So we create a balance between being a YOLO person and saving.
Yeah.
So Peter, what would you do differently?
Just I've learned a new word, YOLO.
What would I do differently in relation to COVID? The first thing I think is being informed. COVID came with a lot of conspiracy, especially and misinformation, especially on things to do with vaccines, its origin. There's a lot of conspiracy. Yeah, so I've learned to limit what I take in, and not to be on platforms that spread this misinformation and such thoughts and ideas too often. Okay, so I learned to be more present. I learned to be more with the people I am around. So I try not to be in my phone when there are people around me. Try to listen to them more. Also, one thing about COVID that I really thought about is taking opportunity, like identifying opportunities when they are still opportunities, and trying to harness them as fast as possible. Because I've heard of people who really made it with the COVID situation. Okay, so I'm always thinking, like, what I hear something happens, I try to conceptualize, like within a day or two. I try to think of how can I make this an opportunity for me, instead of boiling, like complaining with everybody else. How can I make this a point of growth for me? What can I get from this? Yeah, so I think that's something COVID has.
Okay, so looking for opportunities even in the toughest times. Okay, Laban, what would you do differently?
What would we do differently? You know, the Swahili have a saying that lisemwalo lipo na kama alipo
Siaja.
When COVID came, like some of us threw caution to the wind. An example is our neighbor. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Kidogo quarantine. Wamewekwa kwa nyumba because they have COVID. And so it's what made me realize what the Swahili was saying is actually true. Lisemwalo lipo na kama alipo konjiani laja. So moving forward, I decided, you hear something, you take time to process it, and act on it as you should. Secondly, I'd like to be more open-minded. You see, like the way here partner said about COVID was an opportunity for some. You get? Like they saw the positive in it, and they were able to make money out of it. You see, if we would be more open-minded, and also in the sense of income. You see, those who depended on one source of income really struggle. Yeah, they really struggle because kazi imeisha and you're just there. So being open-minded, even in having various sources of income, is also very essential. And it made us more alert. And so moving forward, I believe we are all more alert. Do hand washing, maintain our health standards, and also care for our brothers. But also, again, looking into mental health. You see, it made us, because before COVID, I don't think mental health was really a topic. You see, it only became a topic after COVID, because we realized that health, as they say, is not merely the absence of disease, but the physical, mental, spiritual, and social well-being of an individual. And we started focusing on health in that way, looking at the physical, yes, but also the mental. And so moving forward, what we will do differently is care more for each other, even mentally. Yeah, that's basically what I would do, we would do moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for answering my questions. Alert, not anxious. Thank you so much to our panelists for a very insightful segment. But first, we'll have the word of the day and we'll be right back. On today's word of the day segment, today's word comes from the book of Matthew 6:34, which says, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble on its own." My understanding of this verse today is that even if we plan for what we want, we must remember not to be too anxious or to be too worried about things that are beyond us and are beyond our control. Let tomorrow worry about itself simply means that we take one day at a time, and with God in the front line, everything will be okay. Welcome back to Navigating the New Normal on Shine FM 99.9. And on today's segment, we'll do a deep dive into Mata student admissions. I'm here with Damaris Kimilu, the Corporate Affairs and Marketing Head or Manager at Daystar University, who will shed some light on the same.
Thank you, Valentine, for reaching out to Corporate Affairs Department. We take care of two major things, which is marketing and branding, and thirdly, corporate communication. So all our intakes are driven by the marketing function of the department. And when I look at our trend data, admissions data, since 2020, we've actually remained very stable because we've been exceeding our targets except for the year 2022-2023. In 2020-2021 academic year, our admission stood at 2,371 against a target of 2,300. That was 71 more students. In 2021-2022, against the same target of 2,300, we had 2,494 new students across the three intakes of September, January, and May. So that was an extra 194 students. In 2022-2023 academic year, we were given a target of 2,750. That is what we were working to achieve. And we are pleased to report that we actually achieved 3,573. And this is because they kept revising our target of 2,700 students in the next two intakes. So we were able to exceed, and that was quite good. This new academic year 2023-2024, our target has been moved to 3,000 for the three intakes, and we are trusting God to also exceed our target. Your second question is around what we plan to do to improve or increase. And let me share about the strategies that we lay out. Our target is normally Form 4 candidates in whichever country, whichever academic system. Then for postgraduate, we target the working class. Those are the people who come back for postgraduate, and also those that are graduating from us to transition them into into our postgraduate programs. We have traditional marketing methods that we use. We do a lot of career fairs in high schools. So our marketplace is high schools, where we do career fairs. We also get schools onto campus for academic tours, for them to experience what it is to be in a university. Then they can build their dreams by coming back to Daystar when they finish high school. What we do when we do career fairs is we collect databases, because in career fairs we are dealing with Form 4s, the class that is about to sit KCSE or IGCSE for international students. So we come back with database, and we build up a big database. When results are released, we shift our strategy from visiting high schools to now talking to those that we engaged throughout the entire period. So we send direct messages to the candidate who now has their results, and to the parent. We also engage the students just before they sit their exams by through sending them success cards as a class. So each school we are engaged with, they receive a success card. That card stays next to where the results are pinned. So when they come back, when results are released, they find the Daystar success card on their notice board. And they are able to pick information to engage us, but they also get a direct SMS from us. We also call them directly. We give them direct calls, because once we release an SMS coming to you directly, we also give you a link to where you can apply online. And so you begin now to engage with us either on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on all our digital platforms, and we guide you through the application process. So we, at every step, we are bringing you closer, and we're zeroing in on individual students, creating interest for them in our different academic offerings. How do they know what to apply for? We now shift gear to another strategy called advertising. We place adverts on all our digital media platforms. You'll find our adverts are running on Facebook, they are running on LinkedIn. They are also running through Google Ads. We push a lot on Google Ads, and we define each advert to hit the target. We give it the demographics of who to visit. So when you're on your Facebook, you may see a Daystar ad popping. It is because we said hit female students finished KCSE this year, living in this demographic area or geographical area, age, demographics as well. So those Google ads will walk around the globe looking for the people that we've defined for them to visit anytime they are. So they will know that from, of course, artificial intelligence. They are able to see age groups, they're able to see where you are, they're able to see probably even to gauge your socioeconomic status. Are you able to afford Daystar? And what are you looking for? Okay. So we do a lot of advertising on that, but digital media are very personalized, because it will come to you because you are also in that space. We also aim to advertise in mainstream media. So we place adverts, say in newspapers. We run advertising campaigns on television. And we know the age group we are looking for is not really, it doesn't consume TV, but the person who pays consumes television. So it's about brand exposure. So as you come home, because you saw our advert on Facebook, for instance, I also know your age group is not on Facebook. When you get home, you strike conversation because your parents saw a TV commercial running on a particular channel. So when you strike conversation, then you are now able to converge and make a decision. And once you are really the consumer, the student is the consumer, and they have a very strong voice in where do I want to study. And the person who is paying can only follow that desire. And so that is how we position that. Our online presence is part of the digital media, which is the Digital University website. And so we have structured the website in a way that online application is very visible on the home page, the landing page. Even when we advertise on digital media, we give you a link which when you click, you come to our website. So you land in a place where you get more information, and then it leads you to where to apply online. And that brings the engagement home. We also run articles in which are not related, but just keeping the name of Daystar in the public domain. And of course, the other way we with the technology of today is to live stream a lot of our events. Live streaming keeps our brand out there. I may not run an article in the Daily Nation every day, but every other week we are on live stream and our events are getting seen out there, and we keep on growing that channel by getting people to subscribe and so that they can get information. And also the reason we spend more on digital is that it has high impact but low spend in terms of how much money you are spending. You also control your spending, because what we do is we load money onto our credit card, and not credit but debit. So we load money onto a smart card and we sponsor each ad. So I'm able to say I've spent 10,000 shillings on this advert on Facebook, and I can also look at the metrics and know how many people I've reached. Then I come back to the other side and I see, are they engaged with us through inquiries to apply? That is what tells us that we are effective on a day-to-day basis. The other area is, what are we doing? Is we are now seeking to strengthen building more numbers for international students. Right now, out of our total population of 6,000 plus students, we have just about 400 who are international, and we are seeking to build that number to 25% of the total population. Okay, for the current 6,000 plus students, that should be around 1,200. So we need to more than triple the current number of international students. And we are seeking out to work with ISADU, International Students Association of Daystar University, to have them take us back to their high schools and their friends through digital media advertising. We are collaborating with DUSA and the congressmen and women in this. We actually had that discussion recently in July. And so when we develop content, we develop together with them. And then they mobilize or they rally, they get their students in their schools and departments rallying behind the content that we've co-created to send those adverts back to their friends, their social networks back at home. And then try to, as much as possible, get their friends applying, because application is online. And that is one of the smartest things that have happened, that now you don't need to actually push paperwork through application. You now just at the click of a button, you apply, you walk through the system, about 6 pages in the ERP, and you drop your application. We pick it from this end and process. So that is what we are doing, and we are excited at what is happening. We're looking forward to the coming academic year to see how it's going to look like, but we are very optimistic.
All right. So I think I have a final question in regards to, you raised postgraduate students. So I'm wondering if the target is the same as the ones for undergraduate students.
No, postgraduate students are fewer, but we're also seeking to actually progress more of our students from undergraduate into postgraduate. Of course, many students want to go and, try their first job, maybe work for about 2 to 3 years before they come back. But once you start working and your parents are no longer paying for you, you can always come back to do postgraduate. And the good thing is you are self-paced. You are self-paced as you work and earn. Postgraduate students are much fewer than the undergraduate, and you can understand why. Many people finish undergraduate, they want to go work first before they come back. From high school, the only place you are looking to go is into university. So the numbers are more there. But the other strategy we are working with is converting the Nairobi campus into a graduate school. Okay? So that we carry many more students in that campus who are there for nothing but postgraduate study. That is what we are working on.
I think that's a very good, insightful session. Thank you so much for the insight. And thank you for allowing me to take some time out of your day today.
You're most welcome.
Let's hear from the corporate affairs webmaster himself and the graphics guy after the break.
Okay, so I'm Edward Moose. I work as the webmaster under corporate affairs department, and my role is to ensure our online presence is up to date, especially through our websites. So mostly we try our best to ensure that the information is posted on our website regarding our intakes. As currently we are taking the September intake, and also from that, so when someone or a visitor comes to our website, they will be able to know there is an intake ongoing, and now they will express an interest in joining the institution. So we give them an avenue on how to apply. So without so many struggles or asking questions on how they can do it. So the process is just straightforward. So it is easier for them to do it. So through it, we try to ensure that our programs are well represented on the website, having valid information and also the requirements. So from that, we try also to do some search engine optimization. We are using some of the available tools for SEO. So the tools will help us find some keywords, especially basing on education. So when you try to search, it will give you some suggestion keys, word that will help you to know these are the kind of things people are searching online, the kind of courses people are commonly searching. So when you use those words in your content, either if you are writing a blog post or anything on your page, mostly when someone searches on Google, whichever country they are, they can now be able to access our programs very easily. And also we have structured our programs for every school in a way that it will be easier to access even other shortcuts to access to other schools, and also other materials like the fee structure and the guides like the student guides and all those. So by the time someone leaves the site, within a few minutes, without a lot of scrolling or clicking a lot of buttons, they will have gotten more information about us and also learned. Yeah, so that one will help in time and also prevailing our information in the best way. Yeah.
And up on today's program, we will invite a health expert, Mr. Tony Odida, the lab manager at Equity Affair Daystar, and a practicing lab technician for 8 years. He will be able to share with us some of the recommendations on dealing with the new COVID-19 strains. Karibu.
There are a number of recommendations that I would actually give, but as at now, I'll only give you like 4 recommendations. One, we have false information or misinformation that the virus does not exist, whereas it exists amongst us. The second one, an initiative that we have to make sure that works properly is we need to get vaccinated, whether you're tested positive or negative for the virus. And vaccination comes in 2 ways. There's always the first dose, that means after being tested or even before being tested. And then you go for a booster dose after 3 months. And then again for more booster doses as much as you wish to. The third one is make sure that you mask up in areas that are prone to be endemic to to the COVID virus. But basically, everybody has to mask up so that we minimize the chances of infection or reinfection. And then lastly, we have hygiene. How do you do this? You do your hygiene by washing your hands and make sure that you clean the surfaces with antiseptics and clean water. And generally just practice good hygiene, and everything will be fine with you.
Thank you for kicking it with your girl on Navigating the New Normal on Shine FM 99.9. I've been your host, Wanjiru Cheke, and until next time, bye!